Recently, one of our closest family friends has invited us to come to his cottage near a really nice aqua park to have a good time together. We originally wanted to go to the aqua park by itself just after the evening, but you see, to get there it takes like an hour to just drive there alone, so we ended up sleeping there during the night. And we stayed up until like 11 p.m. It was so much fun. We played all of these kinds of games, where you put the card on your forehead and you have to guess what you are, and everyone else is giving you advice and hints in order for you to finally get it correctly. And they also drank like there was no tomorrow. We also grilled, we also used the fire that we made to grill some really nice meat, and it was just a lot of fun. Everyone connected each other in some kind of way and form, and even I did, even though I am not the most social person when it comes to our family members. I still get to strike a conversation from now and then. But you see, as young men on self-improvement that we are, we still work on ourselves. We still stay disciplined and on our missions and on our duties. And being on this cottage wasn't a reason for me to relapse and relax. I still have to work on myself. We still have to wake up at 5 a.m. in order to fulfill our morning routines and to achieve the best work that we possibly can. Because when we wake up at 5 a.m., we have this window when no one is annoying us, so we can do the most productive work that we possibly can from the entire day. But you see, there was a big problem. There was no Wi-Fi, so meaning I couldn't access Medito, and I couldn't access my Notion where I had my gratitude journal. I know that I could have just opened a random notes app on my phone, and I could have just set a timer, and that I didn't have to go this fancy like I have been on my self-improvement journey. But you see, I wanted to try a different kind of approach to my morning routine. You see, recently I've been thinking, what if instead of doing all of these good habits right as I wake up, at 5 a.m., like meditating, journaling, exercising, I go out for a run, and then I do them at 6 a.m. when everyone is still fast asleep. And this was a perfect opportunity, because like 100 meters away from this cottage was this really nice dam that I could have just run on, like in a movie scene, for example. And I could have just watched the sun rise and get some morning sunlight into my eyes so that I could be productive. And so I asked the family friend that owns the cottage if I could borrow the key from, the gate. And he just said that, oh no, you don't need a key. All you have to do is just lift up the lock and it will open up for you. But you see, I didn't know which lock it was. Because you see, there was this really long gate. It was like 6 meters wide. And then there was this iron door, which was like, I don't know, a meter in length and 6 feet in like height, for example. I don't remember the exact dimensions. But the thing is, there was lock on both of those. And so I didn't know which lock it was. And so I just thought to myself that it was the lock from that iron door. And so when I woke up, I changed my clothes and I finally went outside to actually go for the jog. I came to the iron door and I tried to lift up the lock and nothing happened. And the first thing that came to my mind was, what if I just go across it? What if I climb through the iron door to the other side? And without even looking at the gate, I went ahead and I climbed through the iron door. And worst of all was, the iron door had these little spikes on top of it to make sure that no one who was climbing on it actually made it through. But you see, I was a little bit of a slimy snake, so I somehow managed to climb through it. But you see, I pierced myself in between the area in my left arm between my thumb and my point finger. And it was not really bleeding as heavily as you may think. It was a really thin cut. And it wasn't really deep, but still, at first it made a lot of blood. And so I just thought to myself, can I just return and probably, like wash it off with clean water? But no, the grind had to went on. So I made my way to the dam and I started jogging, while the wound was still bleeding. But all I did was just lick my finger and just washed it off. Because the morning routine has to continue. And then guess what happened? I came back and I finally checked the iron gate. And guess what was there? It was the fucking lock. And all I had to do was just lift it up and it magically opened. And I could walk through without any problem at all. This cut could have been completely avoided if I had just looked 30 centimeters to my left and I would have instantly saw the lock. And so at that moment, I wasn't mad. I wasn't disappointed. But you see, I was astonished. Because this right here symbolizes something that all of us young men on self-improvement usually miss out. The number one mistake that we constantly do on self-improvement from time to time, and that is that we don't view the entire picture of the situation. But before I explain what I mean by looking at the broader picture, we must first understand of how I handled the situation that great. Because let me tell you, if this was me from summer of 2022, 1 year before I actually started my self-improvement journey, and this was me before I even knew what stoicism was, like I had no idea what willpower was, I would have started crying. I'm not joking, I was that weak back then. I would have literally gotten so angry. Bro. So let me give you these 3 great life lessons that you must implement, and then we can talk about the broader picture. The first life lesson that I have for you is mistakes are good. You see, mistakes, and even for us on self-improvement, are our biggest advantage when it comes to life, because mistakes give us a way to learn, and to learn most efficiently. Because 99% of people don't even do anything because they don't want to fail and make a mistake. Whereas we go through the trials and tribulations, we go through the bad times, we go through the awkward conversations, the awkward moments, and guess what? We come through victorious because we are intellectual. We have a positive mindset. Our mental health is amazing, and so we actually use it to our advantage. Every single mistake, every single traumatic experience, every single awkward moment from your life holds a really, really powerful life lesson that you must find on your own. Because life is tough. It will throw these trials and tribulations on you, and then it will give you the lesson after it. The reason why you were so scared to make mistakes for most of your life was because in school there's a different system that everyone has to follow. They first give you the lesson and then you go through the test. But in life, or on the streets, as I like to call it, you first go through the test and then you get the lesson. But that's the harsh reality that life throws at you. And that's okay, because we aren't weak. We are here to learn from the mistakes, because eventually those life lessons that we gain from them will blossom us into beautiful flowers. And they are building us for a far better future than you can ever imagine for yourself. So don't worry. Just because you failed your math exam when you were like 7 years old, and you got a D, for example, and your mom yelled at you for being stupid, that doesn't mean that you're actually bad at life. It only means that you failed in the education system. But since you're still here and watching this video 9 minutes in, then that more than confirms to me that you're better than 99% of people. Because 99% of people can't handle the feeling of making a mistake, so they just avoid it completely. They don't start entrepreneurship so that they could start making money and be free financially, locationally, and timely. They don't spend 6 months going through absolute hell like we do. No, instead they just stay in the education system, in their comfort zone, because everyone has been calling them the quote smart kid for their entire lives. So they just might as well stay there. Because what do they have to lose? They don't have to experience the feeling of failure because they first get the lesson, right? And then they wonder why their life is so shit. Then they wonder why their life is so boring, why are they so depressed, so anxious all the time. Because they don't improve themselves like we do. They don't get valuable life lessons that they can later talk about with other people. And then they wonder why all of their conversations are so dry. Why do they have nothing to talk about except for, general things like school, sleep, eating? You get what I'm saying? There is a really nice quote that I like from the American author called Mark Twain. He said, "Every time you find yourself in the majority, it's always time to stop and think about your life's choices." You have to go against the majority when you want to succeed in life. And that is the second lesson that I have been accidentally talking about for the past 2 minutes or something. Sorry, I got out of track, but you get what I'm saying. You have to go against the majority, because when you think about it, 99% of people are average. They have nothing going on for themselves. Like, sure, they have some good habits like, I don't know, playing football, or going to the gym, or attending any kind of sports club, or just outside activities in general. But when it comes to health, wealth, and relationships, that's where they are lacking. And that's what we on self-improvement do. We actually strive to improve our health. We strive to improve ourselves financially so that we don't have to work anymore as much. We strive to improve our relationships with people around us. We want to get those dream guys that have the same values as us. And we want that dream wife who will love us until we die. We actually go through the trials and tribulations so that we have it easier in the future. And we don't follow the bullshit propaganda that all the weak people who are addicted on social media and drugs, alcohol, video games, fapping, etc. put on us. Enjoy your teens and 20s. That's a whole lot of bullshit, if you want my opinion on it. And that should be your opinion also. If you're watching this video 30 minutes in, then I know that you agree with me. We are men on self-improvement. We are going against the majority. We are not normal to them. We are outsiders. Basically, we are all chained to this wall. Like, just imagine yourself standing in a T-pose and both of your hands and your legs are tied by this metal chain. And everyone, 99% of people, are okay with this. But we, on self-improvement, we actually start shackling the chains so that we actually can break free. And everyone is telling us, "Oh no, what you're doing? Life is so good here. Why else would you want to escape?" And then when you actually achieve the financial, location and time freedom, when you actually get the godly physique, and when you actually get your dream wife, and you break the chains, do you see the analogy? And you start to walk around freely, because you're no longer the slave of the education system and of your country also. That's when everyone will be envious of you. And worst of all is, they will just continue to enjoy their teens and their 20s so that they can compensate for the lack of delayed gratification in their lives. And the third life lesson I have for you is to find advice. You see, when I went to climb through that metal door, that was a problem. And that was a solution that I wanted to get through. And that symbolizes us on self-improvement. That door is the instant gratification that is holding us back from our dream lives. And then there are the self-improvement YouTubers who tell us to just man up and climb through it. It will hurt, yeah, but the rewards on the other side are magnificent. But let me tell you, just by watching short-form educational videos on YouTube, like the Sigma Male edits, that will not be enough for you. That won't give us the real advice that we need to succeed in life. And so the best and the most quality source of information that is out there is to read books and watch long-form educational videos. And even if you can, invest in mentors and coaches. Like for example, if you want to gain muscle, you can read books on fitness and watch long-form educational podcasts. And if it's possible, you can get yourself a fitness coach who will stand there right there next to you every time you do an exercise or when you try to cook a nice meal for yourself. But here's the thing. A lot of us on self-improvement, we usually stick to one singular YouTuber. And that is the point where 99% of us on self-improvement fail. We only have one mentor. We only get advice from him. Think about how illogical that is. It's like if you want to buy a tractor, for example, and you walk into the store and you just immediately buy the first one that you see. It's illogical, right? You have to look at the entire picture. If you want to buy the greatest tractor, the greatest one that will authentically fit to you, you have to go through the entire store, right? You have to view at least 100 other tractors before you want to buy the true one, the real one that you want. And this is the exact same thing with every single problem and the number one mistake that we do on self-improvement. When we want to learn trading, for example, we usually find the first course and we just, buy it, even though it's like $1,000 and we just follow it. No, we have to look at the entire picture and look at all of the different solutions to the problem. You have to explore every single investing course that is out there and trading course as well. You have to look at all the different solutions. You have to read hundreds of books. You have to watch so many podcasts. And you want to determine which mentor you want to get advice from. You have to do your own research before you actually go and take on the problem yourself. And that's what I should have done in the first place, because the lock to that iron gate was just not even a meter away from me, and I just didn't even notice it. And that was the solution to my problem. So all I had to just do was just look at it, and my problem would have been solved just like that, in an instant. And so that's what you need to do. Every single time you have a problem in any area of life, it doesn't just count in self-improvement. It's everything in life in general. Whether you want to buy something, improve in something, learn something new, you have to look at all the different solutions, at all the different opportunities that you can take advantage of, and then determine which one is the best suitable for you. So remember, mistakes are good for you. Go against the majority of people. Find advice from books, educational podcasts, and mentors if it's possible. And always, always, always look at the broader picture. Don't just lock in on one solution. Do your own research. If you want to join our clan of people who are on the same wavelength as you, then you can join our Discord server in the description. You'll get direct access to me and to other people who are on the same wavelength as you. Thank you so much for watching this video, and remember, no one is better at being you.